Yo, it's been a while. I took a break. Not entirely unannounced, but the break was longer than I thought it was going to be. But I had no drive to produce content. I don't like make any money off of streaming or doing YouTube or anything, so the only thing that backs it is my own drive to do it, and I just had no drive to do it. But I'm back now. I don't know how consistently I'm going to do it, but I'm gonna put meta updates out every other Wednesday like I normally do, starting now. So gonna be at least one regularity with this channel. I'm gonna figure out what I'm going to do, but we'll see. We will see. Regardless, feel like I kind of lost what this initially was supposed to be, and I'm gonna put a timestamp to skip my rambling as per usual, but I'm going to put the top 5 picks and show you builds for all of them, or what I think are the top 5 picks and show you builds for all of them. And I think that would make the video more standardized and a bit shorter, easier to grasp, and also just overall better and easier on me to make. So, with that out of the way, we're gonna start with the carry roll in the mage tab, because we gotta start with Freya. Freya is an incredibly powerful pick because of the amount of damage she can put out. This is the build you're kind of looking at. The Breastplate of Determination is there because it is something you can build. You don't have to build it, but you can do it. You can go any of the starter items up there. Bumbas and Conduit are kind of like the top two. Death's Embrace is kind of my own thing that, like, I think is good because you get the cooldowns back on your ranged auto attacks, which is kind of Freya's whole thing. But Freya's Sky God, she is Banish, and she does a shit ton of damage. This is the build you go because Hastened and Telkine's Ring makes you essentially unboxable in duo lane, and she just does, like I said, a ton of damage. You go Bow or Gooseberries, either one works. Gooseberries might be better, though, just because you can clear without having to use your 2, like your jungle camps and stuff. Oleron, I call him the Hades of duo lane. At least for the first few waves, he feels like that, because he just has pressure. In the duo side of things, when it's him and the support, you feel like you can never outpush him. You go Gilded Arrow on Oleron, and the next pick as well, you go Gilded Arrow on them. 70 basic attack damage from Diamond Arrow, this item. 70 basic attack damage is the equivalent of like 100 some odd magical power. It is ridiculous. You build this item on Oleron, and you build it on the next pick as well. You go Gooseberries because it's really the only thing that makes sense. Telkines, Typhon's Fang, Demonic, Cyclopean. You can go Breastplate if you need it. You can go Hastened if you want to. I don't think it's necessary. You can go Obsidian Shard. You can go another lifesteal item if you want to, but I don't really think it's necessary. You can go a lot of different things. Your last item is kind of your own. You can kind of pick what you want. Soul is an ability-based and auto-attack-based, but you're building the Diamond Arrow because, like I said before, 70 basic attack flat damage is like 100 some odd magical power. You can go Gooseberries or Bow. You build Telkine's Ring, Typhon's, Demonic, Cyclopean. You can go Breastplate if you need it. You don't have to. You can finish it up with Rod, you can finish it up with Shard, you can finish it up with a bunch of different things. Soul is incredibly good. All the magical ADCs have pressure in lane, other than maybe Freya, and Soul absolutely slaughters objectives. Towers, Fire Giants, Gold Furies, players. She only has a little bit of problems shredding tanks in the late game, but she could still do it pretty effectively. Granted, you won't be dealing with tanks as much as you used to, but that'll be a point for later discussion. Over to the more traditional hunters, Chernabog. You can go any of the 3 starter items I have above, but it seems like Leather Cowl is the one that kind of takes it away. A lot of people are building it. A lot of the upper end ADCs and SPL players are building Leather Cowl, going Gooseberries, and then building something along the lines of this as Chernabog or most other hunters. But there is a pen build without crit that people are going. Crit's fucking broken. Spectral sucks. Spectral is a terrible item, and don't let anybody tell you different. Hunters are only bad right now because items like Gilded Arrow are giving magical ADCs absurd amount of damage. Shield buff is really strong, and the magical ADCs are able to outpressure them and get it easier. And Hunters still scale ridiculously in the late game and do way too much damage. Crit is broken. Spectral sucks. I think you should be building crit most games. Most, if not all games, but that's besides the point. This is kind of the build you should be looking at as Chernabog. On her, this is the pen build I was talking about. Again, same starter items. Leather Cowl seems to be the one that's the front runner. Gooseberries. And then this is the pen build. You do high amounts of damage. You have Kin Size. You have Titan's Bane. You shred through tanks. Not that you're dealing with as many of them, but the crit build is still very strong. On her, can somewhat match the pressure of some of the magical ADCs. He has CC immunity to deal with Oleron ult. He boxes Freya pretty well. He can block some auto attacks from the magical hunters. He can block Soul too. He does pretty well. His damage is good, but in the late game, he kind of falls off. So that's kind of your risk versus reward in ranked. In the support role, Umoja. Now, for the tank roles, I have less of a finite build because there's a lot of variety in them, and you have to adapt to what the enemy team has. For Yamoja, you can go any of the starter items, and you go Sturdy Stew, because Bow does not stack on her. Her and Kakulin do not stack Bow. Do not build Bow on them, because they do not use mana. They have a separate resource that is not mana. You will not be able to stack Bow, you just have a useless item slot that is being taken up for no reason. Anyway, Sturdy Stew. You can go Benevolence, you can go Sentinels, you can go War Flag. All are viable options for supports. Going Gauntlet of Thieves, Breastplate of Determination, Fae Blessed Hoops. I go Fae Blessed Hoops because they are incredibly powerful on her with her too. Getting that much shielding and having it bounce around between your teammates and drop on every single teammate is really good. You can finish off your build. If you need a Spectral, you get it, even though that item sucks, like I said before, but you can get the Spectral. You can finish up with, if you need a Divine Ruin, or if you need a Midgardian Mail, a Heart Ward, Winged Blade. There's a lot of stuff you can do. Stone of Binding isn't bad either. Relic Dagger if you need it. All that stuff is good. Charon. Charon's one of the few supports that I think can still go Prophetic Cloak. You can go Gauntlet of Thebes if you want, even in the second slot, but Prophetic Cloak is really strong on him because he stacks it so easily. You can go Bow or Sturdy Stew. Sturdy Stew is really strong and kind of underrated. In support, it stacks so easily. You can go any of the starter items, like I said before. Go Prophetic, then you go Breastplate of Determination. Breastplate of Determination is going to be in almost every single one of these builds because this item is fucking broke. You know how Pridwin was being picked up by almost every, and his glyph was being picked up by almost every tank in the game? Breastplate of Determination is being picked up by almost every player in the game. It is that good. Again, with Charon, like I said, with Yamoja, you can build items that you need. Midgardian, Wingblade, all that other stuff. You know, Divine Ruin. You can go more damage-oriented with Charon as well because he has that damage-dealing ability. This is kind of your core item. First two items are kind of core for you, and then the rest of it is kind of what you want. If you're against a Charon, definitely get an Erosion. You need it. Granted, if you're a solo laner or a support, you're going to need an Erosion. Athena. Like I said with Charon and Yamoja, all the starter items work. Sturdy Stew, good. Unga Bunga. Gauntlet of Thebes, Breastplate of Determination, and then the rest of your build is determined by what's on the enemy team. Athena's good because of her global rotation pressure, her taunt's really strong, her CC overall is very, very good. Ares. Ares got high damage, he's got really good ability to force beads, and he bolsters your basic attack damage, and the CCR from his 2 is ridiculous. Bolster defenses is ridiculous. Lastly, I put Terra on here because Terra is pretty applicable in most situations, but I think Terra and Ganesha are kind of tied for that spot. Again, I'm not going to repeat myself. Same thing, all starters. Same build. Terra presses 4, she has good sustain, she does pretty decent damage, good CC, overall strong. In the mid lane, Grandma is back, ready to claim her fucking house back, get off her fucking lawn in the mid lane. Her build really hasn't changed that much. You can go Breastplate if you want to, but Prophetic Cloak is probably just better because she stacks it so easily with the house. One thing I will say, before the game starts, your recipe will eat the stacks of your house without stacking it because recipes cannot stack before the game starts. So be wary of that because they didn't look at that. I don't know. Game sucks, I guess. But Baba Yaga's good because of her safety, her ridiculously high damage, and her ability to survive so well. She's incredibly difficult to dive because you have to play it as a diver. You have to play it as if she has a silence almost every single time because it's random and you can't tell. And she does absurd damage. Her damage is fucking crazy. In the mid lane, Raijin. Yeah, it's been a while. Been a very long time. They're going a somewhat similar build on Raijin. Breastplate, I think, is just overall a very good item. You can go it on Raijin. You don't have to if you don't need to, but I think it's just strong. It's the same stuff, but it's just a strong build. You don't have to go Divine Ruin. You can go Deso instead if they don't have healing of any kind, but Divine Ruin, if any mid laner calls Divine Ruin a bad item, they're delusional and stupid. Don't listen to them. Because this item is good. This item is incredibly good. I held off on it long enough, but the assassin mids have just proven to be too good, right? Pele in mid has proven to be incredibly strong, especially in ranked. The Eye of the Jungle is in here specifically because the build doesn't change enough for me to warrant, like, moving a whole separate section for the build, but Eye of the Jungle is not for mid, it's for jungle. But Breastplate is an optional item, Magi is an optional item, Runeforge is an optional item, but Runeforge is pretty strong on her. She feels really good. Pele is incredibly strong after they changed her, and she's still very, very good right now, even after the repeated nerfs. You could definitely pick her up if you're in the mid lane, and you can run some people down. Set has been a good mid laner for a while now, and it's been seen as his best role. This is just overall a really strong build on Set. You could dive really heavily in the late game. Your Sigil helps you mitigate a ton of damage, and he is just super strong. He does a ton of damage. He dives really well. You just go Beads. You can go Aegis, or Beads Aegis, and you just go in. You just go ham. And Set just does Set stuff. That's all it really is. You can absolutely run the map with this character if you're good with him. My last mid lane pick, Chernobog. You do the same thing you would as a hunter. You've got your global rotations, you got high damage, you build crit, you kill people. It's really it. Nothing special. In the jungle, the bat. Camazotz. Camazotz is really good. You can go any of those starter items. You can even go Bumba's Spear if you want to, but I think Bumba's Hammer is just better. Protector or Bumba's Hammer is kind of your better ones, but you can go Seer of the Jungle as well. Party Punch, Bountiful Bow also works, but this is kind of your standard build. You can go Transcendence, but Jotun's Wrath is a faster build-up. I think it's pretty strong, but instead of the Hydra, like, you could push these all back one and, like, skip out on the Serrated, maybe, and go the Transcendence instead. You can also go Magi's. I wouldn't go with a breastplate on him, but you can, but I don't think it's necessary, because your whole goal is to just do as much damage as possible, go up into the air, do as much damage as possible, come back down, kill somebody, or use the ult to get out, or get away, you know? You're killing somebody because you're exploding them incredibly fast. Camazotz is all damage. That's all he does. Like I said before with Pele, the Eye of the Jungle is pretty much just take the place of Bluestone in this build right here, and you can go the Rune Forged instead of, like, you could swap the Rune Forged out for the Brawlers. You could also put the Breastplate in for Heartseeker is if you're going for a more tanky build. You can go a Binding or a, what's it called? That other fist-looking stone item. I forgot its name. But you can go a more tanky build, but I would say you want to go more damage in jungle in ranked. Thor, incredibly strong. He plays 2 roles. Bumba's Hammer, Protector of the Jungle are kind of your 2 starter items. You can go Party Punch or Bow. Jotuns, Hydras, Runeforge, Heartseeker, Brawlers. You can go Breastplate. You can go Magi's if you need either one. He feels good. Does a really high damage. He's got a semi-global. Really good CC. Overall, very strong pick. Not really much else to say. You land on somebody, you do your combo, you kill him. The Squirrel, Ratatoskr. If you're playing Rat in jungle, you're going Thistlethorn. There's no reason to go crit Ratatoskr, even though it's funny. If you're trying to win games, go Thistlethorn. Having an Athena taunt-sized stun is fucking ridiculous. You only have to hit 3 acorns in a gigantic cone. That is absurdly long range. It's stupid. You can go Breastplate, you can go that same item I was mentioning before, that fist-looking stone item, you can go Stone of Binding. You can go a more damage-oriented build with Serrated Heartseeker. You can get a Magi's, or you can get something like Spirit Robe if you're looking for a bit more tankiness. Lastly, Susano. Again, he does what he always does. He absolutely just obliterates damage dealers. You can go Eye of the Jungle, or you can go Bumba's Hammer, Party Punch Bow, and then you just build damage items, and you can go Magi's. I wouldn't go Breastplate on him, just because he's much more of a damage dealer. You want to look for the damage. In the soul lane, the Monkey King is still up there. So, Bluestone. You're swapping out your Soul Eater for Runeforge, but you can still go Soul Eater if you want to. Runeforge is just really strong because you CC somebody really easily. You have 2 abilities that do it, that proc it, and then you can just dump your combo into them. Breastplate of Determination, because it's OP. It's just stupid. You can just read what the item does, and it will just do that for you. It's just blatantly obvious why it's broken. You go Bow, you can go Oni Hunter's Garb, you can go Genji's, you can go Talisman. Any of those work. You can also go Absolution, but on Wukong it's awkward because you go up into the sky and then it procs below you, so you don't really get the benefit of it. But again, like I said with the tanks before, you can go Spectral if you need it, you can go a Midgard if you need it, Wingblade, you can go the Sage Stone, like I said before, Stone of Binding works, you can go Brawlers if you want to, you can do a lot of stuff. Unlike the other tanks, Amma has a bit more of a set in stone build. Gooseberries, Death's Toll, Berserkers, you can go Vital, you can go Breastplate, you can go Shoguns. You can also go Oni Hunter's Garb if you don't want Shoguns, because Shoguns is a little bit on the weaker end in terms of magical defense, but that's up to you. Talisman of Energy also works, so does Absolution. You can do any of those. Again, Spectral, Midgard, Toxic Blade also works on her if you want it. Wingblade, all these are just optional items that you could look towards. But if you're going to go Vital Amplifier, I wouldn't go another squishy item because you do need the tankiness in the late game. These are, I'm going to mention Hercules now because these are like 3 warriors that actually work right now. And I will mention in a little bit why. But Hercules now because Warding Sigil, Golden Blade, Gooseberries. You go Golden Blade because it has stats that Herc wants. Power, helps with his early game clear. Attack speed is good on Hercules, and movement speed, very good on Hercules. You go Breastplate of Determination, and then I put Spellbound Kusari because you can go Genji's or Oni's. Either one works. And you can fill in the items with the rest, like I said before. But I mentioned these 3 warriors now, because these are really the only 3 that work. The rest of them suck. You wanna know why? Support auras are too good. Why would I try to dive their backline with when their carries are standing next to their support, but I can do the same thing standing next to my support? As a mage. Final K explained it very well on Twitter. I'm going to link the tweet. But why would I do that when I could just play a mage and do the exact same thing? This is the kind of build you're looking at for mage solos. most of them at least. Raijin is kind of like the lead for this, which is kind of weird to say, but Raijin is the lead for this. You can go Vampiric Shroud into either Sacrificial or Blood-Soaked, and you go into Pyth, Breastplate, Genji's, Typhon's Fang. You can go Binding on Raijin because he has enough CC to warrant it. But on other picks, you might want to look into another damage item or another defense item, whatever you're thinking. You can go either or. Both work. But Raijin, I'd say, is kind of the lead in that, other than this motherfucker. Hades, you're going the same shit. You're going Tainted, you're going Bancrofts, you're going Book, Breastplate, you can go Divine, you can go Obshard, you can go Deso, and you go Poly, and then you just one-shot people. I got a pentakill in scrims the other night playing Hades. I mean, it's just the same thing, but with Hades has always been. Free pressure, you get ganked a couple of times, you could die, you could also kill both, it kind of just happens. It's kind of just what it is. Like I said, I'm going to link the Final K tweet below, that talks about the mage solo lane. Why would I dive next to their support when they have all these prots giving to their carries when I could just stand next to mine and do the same thing, but probably better, you know? Anyway, that's it. It's been a while, I know, but regardless, I'm going to try to get back into it. It's been a while, and I've kind of fallen out of it. This video might be lower quality, it might be higher quality, I don't know. Maybe I'm better at it because I took a break, but whatever. Regardless, I hope you have a nice day. Hope everybody's doing well. And hopefully I see you soon. Peace.